Today, I received something from Lone Rider. I wonder what it could be. Can you see it? Shiny things. Ooh, okay. Look at this. So it is plastic there, but it's backed by a nice solid guard, and actually that's a big chunk of plastic. It's about this big. Okay, this looks pretty cool actually. Whoa. Wow, that looks... That's quite lightweight actually, but it's still really nice and thick. You can see it's pretty good. It looks nice. Yeah, are you helping? So this is all the skid plate mounting brackets. So first thing I need to do is remove all the Outback motor track. Now, this isn't me just taking Lone Rider gear for the sake of taking it. The crash bars for Lone Rider, I think at this moment, aren't actually out to the public. So it's coming for testing and, you know, to see if the public actually enjoys them. So I'm going to remove my Outback Motortech, which I actually really like. I'm going to chuck these Lone Rider ones on, and we're going to see how they perform. Oh, hello. Are you going to test them as well? Yeah? Are you going to test? How are you going to test? You're only little. You're not big enough to test it. Yeah? Yeah. So I'm going to take these off, take off the bash plate, and have a go at the Lone Rider gear. Now, something that I have noticed with the Outback Motortech, and I'm going to show you right now, is where the bash plate comes up to. I don't like how close it sits. So it sits so that it's flush with the engine. But look at how close it is to the bottom of the engine. One good, can you see it really? One good sharp bash in here, and I'm worried about this cracking the engine case. So I'm not sure if that's how they've designed it, or is it just the way I've installed it. I don't think there's much play in all the bolts, so I couldn't say it's how I've installed it, but you never know. Oh. Hello, are you helping? Yeah, that's actually dropped that gap as I loosened it. So it could have been the way that I installed it. That's why it was sitting so close. And actually I can see that it has bumped the engine casing. So that was a bit of a no-no. So I often try to take out the more difficult bolt first when I'm removing stuff, just because you don't want the most difficult bolt to get to Thank you. Thank you. Are you all right? Because you don't want the most difficult bolt to get to be the last bolt, because it'll be annoying. Now, ordinarily, you'd want something underneath here that holds it up for you, like a jack or something like that, but I'm too manly for a jack. Now, this bash plate is significantly heavier than the Lone Rider one. So I'm thinking the Lone Rider is made out of aluminium and this one's steel. Now, steel has its advantages. This is going to be stronger. But do I need to be an armored tank? Maybe not. We'll find out. But this bash plate is really good quality. Do any of you guys have helpers like this? Very, very helpful. Sorry, not helpers, inspectors. Is everything up to code there, young lady? Yeah? It's all correct? That's good. Thank you for checking. Now they tell you to only do one side at a time. Don't take both sides off and then put both sides on. Do one side at a time. And I think that's because this bolt that I'm undoing now is a chassis bolt as well. So let me show you. So this is the chassis here, or the frame, or whatever you call it, and this bolt comes out. So this is like a main chassis bolt. Yeah. Anyway, so one side at a time. Don't take both sides off at once. And don't lose parts as you take it off, like this. While I love the Outback Motortech, something else I didn't like was this. So it screws in above this panel, this plastic panel, and in order to open this panel you've got to undo that, but that's not it. This panel won't actually remove even with that undone because it's pressed up so hard. So that, I think, is not a great design. I think that's right. No need for instructions. So I did see this. There's a rubber cap that goes on here, and that sits somewhere here. In fact, does it sit in there? Okay, I see. Something like that. Anyway, so this is what I'm not sure about. Is it going to bounce around? I don't know. Which one? This one, there's the rubber cap there. It just goes like that. It's a bit odd. Okay. Oh, it seems to... Excuse me. Yes? Can I help you? Thank you. So this sits just over that. So it actually... I need that bolt back. It actually fits quite nicely, quite snug on there. And when it gets weight, it'll push against it, and that's pretty good actually. I don't mind that. So with the Outback Motortech, it goes to the chassis bolt. With this, it goes to the OEM spot, which is actually better. So that's a win for Lone Rider, I think. The fact that you don't actually undo the chassis bolts. So what I'm talking about, when I took the OEM crash bars off, that's the original mount. This is where you mount the Outback Motortech. So actually, I don't really like that. I like that that was tightened from factory. But in order to mount the Outbacks, I had to undo that. Anyway, now I can just undo this sucker. This is the OEM bolt. That's just a little plate. Okay. You're going to play nice. There we go. Now I just do that loosely, because then I will get this on. There we go. Okay, now let's get you lined up, please. So with the Outback Motortech, the skid plate screwed into the crash bars. Whereas I think with this one, it goes into the OEM spots again. Okay, so what I've done is I've put all these are the brackets for this skid plate. I've removed the original OEM brackets which go on to these ones, and I've put those screws back in. But with these ones, you put some rubber stoppers into the original OEM bracket section, and then this bracket here comes into this screw. So what I've done is I've put all these brackets in, but they're all loose, so they can all be moved. And now I just need to screw the plate into the brackets. I'm going to try and start with this one. This will come up. Let's see. See if I can get you guys in on the action too. Put you just there. Watch out for the dog. You. She comes around stealing cardboard. You're a little thief. Eh? Little thief dog. Good thing about this skid plate is it's really nice and light. So it's not hard to one-hand it. Get that sucker up. Nice. Then this should line up at some stage. There. Yes. It's good, good, good. Now these ones should line up. Yes. All just getting them in finger tight for now, just to get it in position. You'll see what I'm actually doing here. Okay. It's the beauty of a 360 camera. Again, just getting the bolts in first, and then I'll look at lining everything up properly. Now, I got these pretty much almost done, and that's to let the brackets and the bash plate settle into its position. Now I can tighten up the back of the brackets so that they won't move anymore, and then tighten the plate fully tight. That's how my brain works anyway. Good thing is, it's a nice little hole here. Look at that guy. If you have a torque wrench, use it. I'm using my internal torqueometer, and that's not always the best thing to be doing. Something that is excellent is all the bolts have the same head. So it's one head for all the bolts for fitting this, which is great. On the Outback Motortech, it was all different bolts, and that was very annoying. Anyway, one head. They're all different bolts, but it's one head that you're using, which is very good. Did I already do this one? Sure did. Now this one. this is the most annoying bolt out of all of the bolts. It's that one right there. There we go. Okay, and now I'll do all the belly bolts and then we're done. I might start with these front ones. Remember, if you have a torque wrench, use it because it's just way better for you. Yeah. That's it. That's the install. I think they look pretty good actually. I'm quite happy with that. As for installation, these are better than the Outback Motortech because with these you just unbolt the OEM parts and you bolt these parts on. So that's very nice. With the Outback Motortech, you unbolt the OEM parts and then you do an extra bolt. You take out the chassis bolt and it's not really too nice. So as far as installation, these are the go. And they seem pretty bloody strong, I must say. So I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, carry on. If you enjoyed this video, give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.